Angeles Lakers have found a hidden gem. As following the initial signing of Jordan Goodwin, fans were very intrigued, but following an unbelievable performance against the Utah Jazz and a great performance in his first game with the Lakers, fans are absolutely fired up about not only what he can bring this season, but beyond as well. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're a part of the 90% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. If you're enjoying the daily content, you want to help us towards that goal, make sure to hit that subscribe button. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot to go over today. Now, obviously, most of the show in yesterday's game against the Jazz was stolen by Luka Doncic, LeBron James, even Austin Reaves. But someone to speak about today that needs some more recognition is Jordan Goodwin. And they signed him to a two-way deal. And now the Lakers have a pretty big decision to make, which we'll dive into in this video, surrounding his future. But there's a lot to go over here, ladies and gentlemen. And fans are absolutely fired up, not only about Jordan Goodwin, about the premise of his future in the league and with the Lakers. You see this here from Dan Wokey. Jordan Goodwin has been incredible these past two games. Tons of intensity. Talking to people in the organization, he's worked incredibly hard to shed weight this year. He's got 8 points and 6 rebounds and has been a menace on defense. And this was before his insane run there late in the fourth. And there's a lot that goes into this. So obviously we saw with Jordan Goodwin, he actually played fairly well for the Grizzlies at the NBA level, albeit he only has a bit over 120 games in the NBA. But man, oh man, is he an incredible player. And there's a lot of different things. You can see this here. Jordan Goodwin adds a roughness and toughness that Shake does not. Cut Shake and convert Jay Good. Now we're going to dive into what the Lakers will actually have to do in order to make, and convert Jordan Goodwin. Because at this point, if he keeps playing this way, he's getting meaningful bench minutes. He got meaningful bench minutes in last night's game against the Jazz. He also got meaningful bench minutes. I believe it was the game against the Warriors. He is a hooper, and he is playing extremely well, and the Lakers are ultimately going to reward him because of that. Now, as you start to look at Jordan Goodwin's stats, I mean, this season, albeit it's in 2 games, but you can even think back to Memphis, and I covered it in the video when they signed him, that this guy has a chance to be an impact either backup point guard or, in all likelihood, a backup kind of shooting guard / point guard, a 2-guard, basically, combo guard. He, in 23 minutes, is averaging 13.5 points, 6 rebounds, and a steal a game. Now, if you watched the game yesterday, his intensity on defense, I mean, you saw him defensively getting into every single player, offensively crashing the offensive glass, and he is just an absolute dog. I believe he's around 6'4", 6'5". He's getting in there, and we saw an insane against, I believe it was Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler, an offensive rebound tip back, which led to a bucket. Like, it's the hustle plays like that when you're a two-way player is going to differentiate you from guys like Shake Milton who are on NBA contracts, right? Because you're at the point now where Jordan Goodwin has played so well in these 2 games. If he continues to play this way, there is an extremely strong case to be made for the Los Angeles Lakers to convert him. And you talk about having to make up space for a buyout center. That's going to happen, and it's probably going to come in the form of waiving Christian Wood, which we'll dive into a little bit later. But it's going to be very interesting to see not only what they do with Jordan Goodwin, but how they handle his, of course, inevitable, having to convert him. See this here from Anthony Irwin. A lot hangs in the balance of the league looking into the rescinded trade, but I've been told the Lakers are getting ready to convert Koloko at some point this year as well. But Goodwin has made a pretty solid case to be converted. Lots of moving parts. So it seems like tons of moves are going to be happening. I mean, whether Christian Koloko gets moved into a full-time contract, whether Jordan Goodwin now, after impressing heavily, gets converted to a full-time contract. The amount of moving parts right now with this Los Angeles Lakers team, that's not even to mention them having to go out in the buyout market and get a starting center, because, I mean, at this point in time, your starting center is Jackson Hayes, your backup center is Trey Jemison. We haven't seen really any of Christian Koloko here, and it's going to be very intriguing, right? You obviously, I mean, you look at his game last night, he had 17 points, 8 rebounds. I've heard some comparisons, and I'm curious to see what you guys think down below. Does he remind you guys of Josh Hart at all? Obviously, an absolutely tenacious defender, a guy who gets a lot of rebounds, especially for his position. I mean, Jordan Goodwin yesterday, he was showing some flashes of Josh Hart, albeit not as big, not quite as physical. He's shooting 50% from 3, and throughout his career, he's been, a below average 3-point shooter, no doubt about it. But I think with reps, and especially with Luka Doncic and LeBron James manning your point guard and point forward spots, you're going to get an unbelievable amount of open threes. We've seen it from Austin Reaves. We've seen it from Dorian Finney-Smith. And especially, we've seen it from Rui Hachimura, what LeBron James has done. And now Luka being able to open up his spot-up 3 game. He's become one of the best spot-up 3-point shooters in the league. Rui Hachimura I'm talking about. And you see this here. Jordan Goodwin's success could prompt the Lakers to a big decision. He recently received a 2-way contract from the Lakers after Armel was waived by the franchise. In just his second game for the Lakers, Goodwin impressed fans with a solid contribution of 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist in 22 minutes. I mean, we were seeing him, right? We were seeing Jordan Goodwin go absolutely crazy, and he was hitting step-back threes. He was hitting pull-up middies. He was very confident offensively, And it's not like this guy's someone who hasn't played in the NBA before. He has 123 NBA games. Having that amount of experience is tenfold more important than a guy, let's say a new two-way player who's coming out playing his first year NBA games. You have a ton of jitters. Of course, I'm sure Jordan Goodwin going from, Memphis to LA in front of the limelight, even compared to Washington, and obviously he had a little bit of a stint in Phoenix there, putting up, 5 points a game. He is going to be, I think, a very critical part of this team going forward. And as you look at, some of the things that they're going to have to do here, you look at their depth chart. I mean, you could see a world where Jordan Goodwin, he currently, factors in as the 5th string point guard. I mean, he's getting minutes ahead of Shake Milton. He's getting minutes, of course, right now ahead of Dalton Knecht, because we are uncertain about the future of Dalton Knecht with this team. He says he wants to kind of take some time before playing again and getting back, not necessarily getting back into game shape because he's not injured or anything, but just getting back into the, the thick of things here with the Lakers following getting traded. He's going to continue to earn minutes. He was one of the first, he was the 7th or 8th man off the bench yesterday. He really was impactful defensively. We saw him running lineups with Luka Doncic, with LeBron James, all these different things. And as you start to think about it, he's going to be very important. Now, when you talk about what kind of deal you're going to have to make in order to, a move you're going to have to make in order to get him going. So you can see this here. Some people are saying cut Shake and convert Jay Good. However, it's a very interesting point here. We're keeping Shake for his non-guaranteed contract over the summer. Guarantee date is 7/20. Will open up trade possibilities. And I think one of the reasons they're probably going to keep and hold on to Shake Milton is not because of his play, albeit he is a very solid player in the past. He hasn't been with the Lakers at all. His jump shot's very ugly. He hasn't been playing well at all, right? But his non-guaranteed contract allows the Lakers to be able to use him in a future move, whether that be in a trade for Nick Claxton, whether that be in their next trade, Walker Kessler, whatever opens up here. The Lakers now have their assets because the Mark Williams trade was nixed. They have the assets. Their 2030 swap, their 2031 unprotected first-round pick. You have Dalton Knecht. You have all these guys that you can use now to make a deal for a center in the offseason, which is something they're going to absolutely have to pivot to. It's going to be the story of the offseason. Whether or not they go deep into the playoffs this year, win the championship, regardless, they're going to be perusing the trade market for a center as the offseason approaches. And having a guy, unguaranteed contracts, having players that you're able to trade to match salary is absolutely critical. I mean, we saw it with the Raptors and the Brandon Ingram trade. They had Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk. They held on to both those guys. They had recently extended Kelly Olynyk. They flipped him for Brandon Ingram. Not saying the Lakers are going to make a trade necessarily of that caliber. However, it's very much in the realm of possibility for them to go out and make a big trade for someone with a higher salary. So having Shake Milton and players on the roster who can help fill some of that. Maxi Kleber is another one. Christian Wood is another one. All these different guys. It's going to be very, very, even Rui Hachimura, albeit he is a critical part. Probably more likely he extends than anything. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. Also, quick note, Austin Reaves in the last 5 games, averaging 27, 6, and 6. He is critical to this team. And obviously, Luka and LeBron are going to be the two pieces that are the most important to them winning a chip. But when you're talking about guys who need to play the role and need to step up, Austin Reaves is as important as anyone for this Lakers team when it comes to managing the bench minutes, when it comes to playing that facilitating role with or without Luka Doncic, and now learning how to play off Luka is going to be absolutely incredible. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. It's going to get interesting. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.